This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, the time is 6 o'clock on January 25th. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the PPPB, and we're going to start with the motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public meeting.
Second.
There's a motion made by Robin, seconded by David, to open the public hearing on the proposed changes to the rules and regulations. Any member of the public that wishes to be heard on any of the items, now is your time to speak. For or against?
Will we have a chance later on as you go through this, or is this the only time? Because there's one I think we might have overlooked that I would like to include. So.
And then I'll just ask a question in general. That was, of course, John knows me. I get confused easily, but I got a little confused. Okay, is what's being proposed just in the summary, or is it in the attachment? Because on the one concerning vacation time, there was a piece that is not in the summary, which concerned me that I had sent along, but it seems to be contained.
It should be word for word.
So you're talking about pages 31 and 32?
Yeah.
Vacation leave?
Yeah.
All right, so the summary says vacation leave change earned service equivalent to the number 2 after 1 year, 3 after 3 years. Note, 90-day probationary period has to be completed before vacation leave is granted. Vacation days can be carried over to the next fiscal year in the event that the employee was unable to use vacation time due to hire date within the last 90 days of the fiscal year. That's the summary. And then if we go to the actual changes, which are on page 31 and 32 of the existing book, we have, starting in the first paragraph, letter A, striking 1, inserting 2, service equivalents after completion of 1 year of service, but less than, striking 2 and adding 3 years. Striking entirely letter B. Letter C, striking 5 and inserting 3. So it shall read, an employee in continuous service shall be granted 3 service equivalents after 3 years of continuous service. D and E remain unchanged. Letter F, adding vacation days can be carried over to the next fiscal year in the event that the employee was unable to use vacation time due to the hire date within the last 90 days of the fiscal year, as well as striking .083 and inserting .166.
And it was F that wasn't in that.
In the summary.
And I won't even say summary because it doesn't say summary. That's where I was confused.
Okay, so what you see on the pages are the exact changes.
Okay.
So this is more or less a summary, just so you have the gist of where we're going with it.
Clarify that point. Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
So you're good with the actual changes? Okay, perfect.
I was concerned at first because I didn't think that F changed to the 1.66.
Gotcha.
That's all.
I
Okay.
think there was one other one, if I can add, that we had talked about at one point in time at select board level was on possibility of working from home, given certain circumstances. And I don't see that in here.
Correct, because we did not come to a consensus on that to be included in here because there was too many questions on our part.
Yeah, we didn't have information.
To be able to include it in this.
Ed was going to send us another draft. I believe he's going to take a look at it.
So that's something we could still bring
In the
up
future,
Correct.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I think certain circumstances would be something for us to consider. I mean, I think that's one way to help retain employees and attract employees, as well. So if there's a little bit of flexibility in having that possibility, life happens to everybody.
Seems to be the way of the future.
Right. Yeah, and I think some of the questions were around the existing wording, or the wording that was proposed about records that could go home and not go home. And so it's not that this board was opposed to it, we just weren't ready to move forward with it, with these changes.
Got it.
Anything else?
Not
No?
me, no.
Anybody from the committee that wants to speak one way or the other during the public hearing portion?
Not I.
No? That being the case, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
You're not gonna go through each of these, huh? This is
I
short.
will if you want me to, but
Well, I thought maybe general public might want to know what you're talking about here, but okay. I don't know.
it's available on the website. Okay.
I'll motion
Is-
to close the meeting.
There's a motion to close the public hearing by Robin, seconded by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Now, what is the committee's desire? We can do nothing. We can recommend the select board approve all of these, or we can recommend the select board disapprove all of these changes.
I would like a motion to move it forward to the select board to approve.
There's a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. This one has a spot for all of us to sign. Yeah. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to review and approve the minutes of December 14th, 2023.
I'll motion to approve the minutes of December 14th, 2023.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next item, a PRF for the water department. Water department, water technician modification to job description. Water superintendent is not currently present. We are looking to modify.
So if
to
you
do-
go through, you'll see it's in red, the changes. There's a few modifications on the licensing.
Anyway.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, all right.
That's how it's going to read, and this is the changes.
Okay. So we have a request from the water superintendent to modify the existing job description of the water service technician, which they are suggesting changes it from a grade 7 to a grade 4. Right?
That grade 7 was from the old system, from the old scoring system that we used to have. So that's just where they will be a 4. That's where they'll fall on what we have now. That's the structure we have now.
Okay.
That's where Dennis is right now for the water tech position. So that's for an additional tech.
Why is it
However,
such a
he
wide
wants to
pay
modify, what's
Why
that?
is it such a wide pay scale?
That's just how it falls on the scale.
But isn't Dennis currently grade 7?
No, 4, I believe.
So in 2017, it was a 7.
When it was originally approved, it was from the old scoring
And
system.
if we looked at the 2017 score of grade 7, that would be the equivalent of a grade 4 today.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, since we have so many members of the public here, is there anybody on the public that wants to be heard on this? No?
The major change on there is that he's changing it to a license of a 2, not a 3, because a 3 really depends on the number of community members you're serving. So it wasn't really necessary.
So is this a license change or a
Yeah.
grade change?
License, yeah, the pay stays the same, it's just a license.
A little more context.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, if it's helpful, the next steps in that Collins compensation classification plan, which they're almost to the steps, so I expect it to happen within the next couple of weeks, is they're finalizing the job descriptions. Once they actually do that, they're going to be sending them to the pertinent department heads to give to the employees to go over to make comments. And the employees will have a week, and then they'll come back to the department head, and then the department head will have another week to comment on top of that, and they'll go back to the Collins Center, So as you know, as long as they make those comments,
Yep.
you know, in that period, they'll get, shall we say, addressed.
You're doing a motion to, entertain a motion to hold this until
Well,
they are present and the Collins Center is presented?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we need to, but I'd be of the opinion that we table this
Okay.
and wait, I mean, unless there seems to be, I'd also like the water superintendent to come in and talk about it. And what the big plan is, because I believe they're currently advertising for a position already.
Yes.
Yeah. So if there's no objection, I'd like to table this.
No objection. Would you like me to make a motion to officially table it?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to table this.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that's this.
And the next one was a PCF for myself, so I'll step out.
Okay. We'll let the record reflect at 6:15 that Robin Richards is recusing herself from discussion, and we had quorum to start the meeting, so I think we can still vote.
Yes, she would, theoretically, it could be a 2-0-1,
Yep.
as a recuse, it could be a 1-1 and
Yep.
one, yeah, so you are correct.
So, yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a PCF for Robin Richard, Water Department Administrative Assistant, wage adjustment to reflect highway increase. At a previous meeting, this board approved a change on the highway department and transfer station, but noted that the highway superintendent did not have the authority to change a wage line item in someone else's budget. Discussion? Personally, I think approving this is just in keeping with what we already approved for the highway department and transfer station. We just needed that department head to submit the paperwork.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve by David, seconded by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
What's the increase?
It is going from $20.69, which is grade 3, step 6, to a grade 3, step 12 of $24.71. Today is the 25th, 24. And just a little history on that is that historically, this current board has applied years of service to count and adjust, and based on that, the highway superintendent came forward with a request for reconsideration, which was approved by this board and then later approved by the select board. But the highway superintendent did not have authority to adjust the water department side. Next, we have a PCF for Jacqueline.
Sorry.
Babyak.
Thank you. Of Southampton Fire Department resignation effective January 7th, 2024. Last day on payroll was July 20th of 2023. Is there a motion to approve, to accept the resignation?
I'll motion to approve the resignation effective 1/7/24.
And I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to do them all together, the fire resignations?
Sure.
Okay. All right, well.
Go ahead, if you want to.
I will motion for the next 3, Timothy Bozak, Courtney Boudreau, Maxwell Gagnon, to approve the resignations.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Maxwell. All right, next we have, and I thought we already, oh, okay. So we have a procedural request before us, a PCF regarding our interim fire chief, Richard Fazoli, to continue his appointment as interim fire chief, which shall expire on February 29th, 2024, and/or when a successor is appointed. This is previously approved on January 2nd, 2024 by the Select Board.
I'll motion to approve Richard Fasoli's extension
Second.
to February 29th. Sorry.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Again, Troy Chilson. This previously was approved by the Select Board on January 2nd. This is a PCF for a new hire, election, well,
So
is
there
there
are
a group?
4, yes,
Yeah.
there's 4 of them that were appointed and approved by the Select Board.
So can we do that as a package?
Yes, we
without
can.
objection? So Troy, Elizabeth, Patricia, and Carol.
Okay, I motion to approve Troy Chilson, Elizabeth Grasty, Patricia Izot, and Carol Lacasse as election workers.
Second.
There's a motion made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you. You're welcome, Lucy.
We can vote faster than I can sign. Okay. No, okay.
Formality.
We have a PCF regarding our town administrator, Edward Gibson, to extend his term of employment till February 29, 2024, with a change in compensation of annualized at $10,000, but retro for the budgeted year. Previously approved by the Select Board on January 2nd.
I motion to approve Edward Gibson, Town Administrator, agreement extension and amendment.
With the salary change.
Yes, with the salary change.
Second.
Second. And I would just note for the record that there is an attachment, a one-page summary, because there is also an enhancement, I guess, on
The
is it
retro?
vacation days? 2 additional
Oh,
personal
yes,
days.
it's, yeah, part of the
For the
agreement.
record. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And then we have a PCF for resignation of Janine Domina, effective 12/20/23.
I motion to approve the resignation of Janine Domina.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, one of the late ones is underneath your packet, it's not included in it.
This is
So,
That's good.
Kate DeSantos is next, I believe, and which I think is on the bottom of one of the next one.
All right, we have a late file regarding Kate and the Council on Aging. This is a PCF for a temporary change. Temporary increase hours due to service incentive grant, which provides for outreach work with 6 additional hours a week until the end of June, at which time the grant ends. Funding source is the grant. So it's going from 18 hours a week to 24, maintain the same grade, the same step, the same compensation.
I motion to approve an additional, what is it? Additional hours, 18 to 24 hours on a temporary basis, which is 12 weeks for Kate DeSantos.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Anybody want to be heard on this?
Yeah, is it for 12 weeks? Because it says to the end of June to the grant. Runs through the end of June, so
She'll have to submit another PCF after the 12
After
weeks
12
because the
weeks.
temporary is for 12 weeks. Can you prove it for an extended?
Well, I mean, we could, in essence, this ends up being a recommendation of the select board, right? Based on the circumstances, we could suggest that the modification end date be changed from 12 weeks to June 30th, 2024. But the current town administrator may have an issue with that. Go ahead.
I don't have an issue. I'm just going to have a suggestion, is if the PPB maybe voted that if there was a second temporary PCF to show up in the very near future before Tuesday, on an emergency basis, that would extend whatever that 12 weeks to the end of June, probably solve this particular issue, and the select board would have 2 in front of them on Tuesday night, would approve the first and approve the second as an extension.
I'm thinking, unless I misunderstood, I think the request on paper, but the request is until June 30th? And you're saying
The
because-
comments and justification say because the grant it's being funded by the grant.
Right.
The grant expires on June 30th. However, the box checked says temporary not to exceed 12 weeks.
Which is 12 weeks.
So normally,
can that be modified? I mean,
Yeah, I think that would be the simplest thing. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea, just because we checked the wrong box, I wouldn't,
Well, there's no other box to check.
yeah.
Right, so it's-
The lesser of-
Yeah.
The only option.
So you made the motion. Are you comfortable amending?
yes,
it
I'll
to
amend
say-
it until the end of June.
And you're comfortable with that? Okay. So we're going to modify this under the notes section that approved till 6/30/24 versus 12 weeks only. And then I'll rely on the chair of the select board to communicate that. On the amended motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
You're welcome. Did you want to skip over to the town administrator, the new town administrator PCF, saying that the assessors are not here, or do you want to?
Is that Kathleen? Is that the assessor's office?
Yes. Because we got to talk about modifying the PRF before we can address the PCF.
So we are going to go out of order as the assessors are not currently present, but they are anticipated to arrive sometime after 7.
We hope to be here before
Yep.
7.
The meeting is still going on. So we are going to skip to,
Go ahead and say it, John. Scott?
I have to see it, I have to look at it.
Just beginning with a Z.
Yeah. Zyback.
Is that how you say it, Zyback?
I won't ask you to spell it. but-
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here, John.
Oh, all right. We have a PCF for Scott Zabak, Town Administrator, effective date February 22nd, 2024. Full-time benefited, 40-hour-a-week Town Administrator, grade 6, with a salary bi-weekly of $3635.32. And attached to the PCF is the job description. So I will say that I do know that the select board is in active contract negotiations with the individual, probably at the 10-yard line.
Oh, it hasn't been agreed yet? No.
It's pretty close.
It's with legal for review.
Yeah.
So we've had agreement.
The parties have agreed.
Yeah, the parties have agreed, but not legal yet, so they're waiting, and I'm expecting by next week, sometime, by the end of next week, hopefully.
Discussion? It's not here, but the highlights are that the individual would come on between now and the end of the fiscal year for the amount of money that the town accountant has signed off on that is available, which if you analyze it is about $99,000, give or take. As of July 1st, the new pay rate for the following year would be $117.
And 17.5.
17.5, and then in July 1st of '25, it would go to 120, and then in the third year, it would be the average of the raises.
Okay, percentage. Equivalent.
Average percentage increase
Equivalent to.
of what was given out to all other town staff.
Right.
Chris, do you want to speak on this?
Scott and I were talking about starting date, and we had wanted to have at least a week or so overlap with Ed. This is basically exactly about a week, because he's coming in the last couple of days of the pay period, which is a bit odd, I admit, but he wanted to also, on his end, give 30 days notice to his current job and finish up a couple projects and maybe do some initial helping out with recruiting his replacement. So he was trying to balance both, where he had at least a decent amount of time with it, and so this would actually have him coming in at a funny time period rather than starting at a beginning of a pay period purely, but that's really the reason why. But we have agreed on terms, and it's just more just for legal to double check it and make sure that we haven't missed anything.
Right, and this position would be covered by an employment contract.
Right.
As allowed under Mass General Law. And I think the only other extra that's there is front loading of 5 sick days.
Right.
To start.
That was the only- yeah.
And then there's the regular membership and town administrator clubs and associations.
Yeah.
No company car.
Yeah.
I'm just getting one of the old dump trucks.
You can have Daisy.
Must be one we didn't put on the disposal list yet, I'm not sure. But no. Yeah, so it's a standard contract, very much so. So it's 3 days personal leave and, same thing with whatever we've got for leave. One of the things that we're discussing, honestly, with the legal counsel is probationary period. Sometimes for executive positions, you don't necessarily have to have a written probationary period, or you could refer to the manual, or you could just say it's not a formal Well, it's formal in the sense that you have a mini discussion review or something at the end of 90 days, just to see how things are going. But I have a feeling legal's going to really want us to have a probationary period, so that may, that's one of the things we're talking about.
But that wouldn't change any compensation or additional payout from the town?
No, change, no.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I will make a motion to approve the PCF for Scott Zizek.
Zyback.
Zyback.
Zyback. The S is silent.
Zyback, okay.
The second Z is silent. You can always be like me and say Scott.
Yeah, so I'll make the motion to approve our new town administrator's PCF, effective February 22nd, 2024.
There's a motion made, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Great.
Okay. I believe the only,
What else? We had a couple other things other than the assessor paperwork.
review of the annual town report for calendar year '23.
Yes, I put together a
is
report
this-
for us to
yep.
review and approve so I can submit it to Judy. It's basically, it's
What
pretty much the same as our quarterly, except I changed the numbers to reflect.
Yep.
And I changed it into paragraph format.
Okay.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, have a good
Thanks,
night.
See you, Lucy.
Yeah. Sean, I saw in the,
I think it's the last two pages, Dave. No, just,
oh, it looks like you got it, Dave?
yep.
Is our new town administrator also going to be considered a personnel director? Did I read that in the job description?
I did not see that. His current position with the town, city of Lawrence, or?
Did I just do it? Job description. Found that interesting. So, in our report, I had recommended hiring a human resource professional, so I don't know if we should take that out, seeing that's there.
Oh, no, because I think that's accurate for '23,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think this is good. I mean, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest we change it, but the only thing that I would suggest we add, if at all, is just the opening. Who are the members?
We were told on format not to because it's duplicating the process. Because it's already listed, it will already be listed.
Yeah, well, you're
Okay.
trusting the town clerk.
I know, I
You know.
know. Not the town clerk, no. Town administrator.
All right,
Lovely
so
assistant. So,
if everyone's good with this?
yeah, they
we'll go ahead and
emailed me
submit
a
it?
certain format.
Perfect.
Would you like to motion to approve it?
Yeah, motion approved.
Second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so reviewing. And there
We
was,
have procedural protocol memo?
yeah, I want to put out a memo, just so people know the procedures. I have people sending me things late, they don't understand what they need to complete before they send out.
Kind of like a refresher?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So I put a copy in there. It's like this, the memo should be at the end, all your paperwork. And you're happy to go. Give me this copy.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Lucy.
Robin?
Yes?
Can you see put an extra box under that temporary?
There you go. An extra box on our form?
Are you doing a new PCF or no?
No.
Oh,
No, what do you mean, like a format?
no, the same PCF, is that what we're going to be using?
This is our PCF. with
Right,
others.
yeah, I don't think there were any modifications.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just telling people how to use it.
Oh, okay, good. Oh,
A refresher.
good.
Okay. So you
I think I
So what I'll do is include all the forms with it and the guideline on the PCF that they already received a couple years ago, but as a refresher, it's just it's a box that tells you exactly how to do it.
And so.
Go ahead.
So when the instructions are, if a person has a new hire or when somebody wants to get a job here, the job is posted. The person interviews them, or the department head interviews them. They want to hire them. They put in the PCF, or do they, what is the next step? So everybody is.
Well, you can't interview unless the PCF has already been submitted. Because the PCF gives you permission to advertise
Okay,
and post the
that's
job.
That's
Yeah,
good.
the
Right.
PRF is the
That
approval to
should-
post.
That should be written up, and that way people know.
Right.
Isn't it not PRF process?
Is that in the process?
It's in our rules and regulations, I know that much.
Right, because it's got to be, you have to post the job posting, which you can only do upon approval. Is a PRF or a
PRF. the
PRF?
requisition.
So first the PRF comes in.
Right.
With the summary and the posting. Once that gets approved, the PRF needs to be posted for 5 days
Right, okay.
prior to any interviews. Then you can have the interviews, identify your target, your candidate.
Okay.
Then that, once you identify your candidate, then you can do the PCF
Okay.
to say, this is the person I want to hire
Okay.
based on the PRF.
Yeah,
And the PCF has to be signed by Bradley first, or the select board first?
the department head and Bradley showing that there's money
Okay.
there.
Right.
And then it comes to us.
Right.
And then the select board?
Yeah, select board's the last
Okay.
The
stop on the train.
The PRF goes to finance, PCF does not.
PRF only goes to finance if it's a new position, unbudgeted, under our new
See,
changes,
this is why I asked.
right?
I didn't think so.
Because,
I thought they still had to sign it if we make any modifications. Well, you're saying if not.
right, if
there's any
it's the same old,
yes.
like hiring a police
Yeah.
officer,
There's no
right,
need to.
we don't
even
have to go
pre-
back to
there's no
finance
need
every
to even
time on
present
that.
to PRF
Okay,
if
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
replacing
Right,
someone.
it's just- okay.
Right,
But what this memo is trying to say, if you're altering your position, we have people adding extra hours, changing the dollar amount, you have to fill out a PRF, personal requisition, to show that it's approved. That's all. And hopefully this might be Darcy.
But it's not.
It's not Darcy. We don't, so,
wrong meeting, I guess.
yeah. Did
I'll
did
read
you
that.
to read it, and do you want to approve it for me to send out?
The memo, I'm good with the
Yeah.
memo.
It's
Yep.
really, it's just a reminder of
Yeah.
how to
No, I think that's fine.
complete these. Okay.
Yep. It's just an educational piece.
And letting them know our deadlines.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Is there, old business, I suggest we continue to hold the Waterfield supervisor, and then our next meeting is scheduled for February 15th. Is there any other business that can't wait until February 15th that we know of right now?
did you want to discuss the assessors
Yep,
paperwork?
I'm gonna go back, we're gonna go back to the
Okay.
assessors.
Okay.
Okay, so the only thing left on the agenda is the assessors. So I don't know if there's any of this that we can deal with right now, but let's look at it. So am
So some
I
of it's-
reading this right? There's a PCF here for David to be appointed, the permanent
Yes.
assessor?
Yes, however, there's a modification of the PRF for David, because it's going, dollar amount wise, it's going over what was approved.
But reduced hours.
Yes. So, I mean, we can approve it pending the approval of the PRF, or we can wait until it's actually approved.
who's supposed to be coming tonight?
Darcy and I thought Cindy Palmer were both coming. So we do have 2 PCFs for Kathleen. One is an emergency because Janine
Yeah.
resigned, they need coverage in their office. So on a temporary basis, they have the funding to give her extra hours until a PRF is approved. So that, I mean, we can address that if you like.
All right, so I see a PRF and a PCF.
There should be 2
Oh,
PCFs
this
for
is
Kathleen.
requested
Yep.
by-
And that is to change it permanently, the position. Because
Okay.
we're going to make it one position, that's what they like, I should say. They would like to have it one position, and they want to modify the hours.
All right, so let's take up the 2-week emergency appointment first for Kathleen.
Okay.
So we have before us a PCF for a 2-week emergency appointment, part-time, temporary, not to exceed 12 weeks assessor's office. Change in salary, wages, or appointment. Temporary increase in hours until the PRF is approved. They're currently at 12 to 15 hours per week at $18.76 per hour. They're asking to go up to 24 hours per week at $18.76 an hour. So an increase in hours, but no increase in compensation or hourly.
Correct.
Signed off by the interim assessor and the town accountant. And we have a similar one to make this a 12-week change. So there's no date on this, but I'm assuming since this is an emergency that she's already doing this.
Right.
Okay. Probably as they signed this on the 19th.
I assumed too, but she didn't give me a date, so I
All
thought
right.
she'd be here to clarify. I don't have an issue giving her extra hours for office coverage.
Right, at the same pay
Yeah,
rate.
but I do think we need to modify that PRF to reflect.
Right, so that'll be step 2.
Our next, yep,
All right, so can we take up the PCF
emergency.
emergency and the regular PCF that accompanies it
Yes.
to go from 15 to 24 hours for a 12-week period of time at the same hourly rate? Approved by department head and town accountant already.
Yes. So I would like to make a motion to approve Kathleen McGowan's 2-week emergency and temporary appointment for 12 weeks. Same rate at 24 hours.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Then we have a PRF for the administrative assistant, same position. For 24 hours a week. So this tells me they're going to advertise. A PRF is permission to advertise. But
Or if they're modifying the PRF, so they just wanted to reflect the hours that Kathleen, we just approved temporarily. Keep her on that way.
thoughts? There's no other changes in the
No,
job
I
description,
just
it's
want
just
to...
the number of hours?
Well, the number of hours and the range has gone up. What was it before? It was, I think the high end was 1876, and now it's starting at 1876. Although she's still going to make the same thing, there's money in there. They're not planning on increasing it, her wage, till July.
So if they're not going to advertise for the job, I don't know that we need to change the PRF.
You don't think that should reflect?
I think they're
Because-
going to need a
because now she's
PCF to
a-
make it permanent.
Right, but how can we make it permanent if that's not what's approved on our PRF? Those are not approved hours. It's approved at, whatchamacallit, what was her last hours, 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think we should update that.
And where's the 2175 come from?
It's on, I think it's on the scale. So she is a 3, 2175. I don't know, step 8 is 2195. Or is she a 2? What grade is this woman? She's a grade 2. Okay, so grade 2, it's 1571 to 2175 is the step 12. So I think they just want wiggle room for budgeting purposes in July.
But again, a PRF is an authorization to post for a job to be filled. There's already somebody in that job. That person in that job wouldn't be capped by the top number in a PRF, right? If through the budget process,
Right.
we continue the steps and all that, they, if they surpass this number. What I'm concerned about is I wouldn't want the next request to come back and say, well, you said we could pay up to this much, so now we want to pay this person that much. It seems to me this might be, without them being present, this might be an end run around the Collins report.
How would you like to handle it?
We're not posting is it their intent, if you know, anybody, is it their intent to post Ms. Domino's position?
No.
And fill this?
Their intent is to make this one position only.
At 1876 for the hours that they have.
Yes. However, when you do the PRF, you should have a range, no matter what the range.
Well, I agree with that, but it's not like, they're not gonna go out and hold interviews.
No, nope,
Right, the incumbent is gonna stay with these permanent hours.
yeah. I mean, we certainly can change it to
So I
what
almost
was
think
prior.
they just need to do a PCF to make it permanent. And then that would supersede the posting. Because the PRF only gives you permission to post. Right?
It approves the position. If you're altering the position, you need to fill out a PRF. And we are altering it by making one position.
In this case, both by hours and their
Yes.
wage. So I guess I would go along with this, but I would hold the pay scale to 1876.
Okay, so,
To 1876 and authorize the additional hours. And then let it follow the budget process or the Collins.
I just
report.
want to see what it was before. I think I have a copy of it. Uh, 1571 to 1876, if you'd like to note that.
1571?
Yep, to 1876.
Well, I wrote this here, I'm about to cross it off. Is everybody in agreement with me that we should just hold the wages the way they are?
Yeah, that's fine,
Only
because
adjust
they're
the
not
hours?
altering.
Yeah. And then we'll approve the 24 hours. Was 15.
And do you want to note one position somehow? Because it was 2. We approved an extra. One admin position only.
I'm good with that.
Okay, so,
Is there a motion to approve as modified?
yes, I'll motion to approve the modified PRF for admin assistant, 24 hours with the pay range of 1571 to 1876. One position only,
For up to 24 hours.
up to 24 hours.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Okay, and now, so then what's left is the principal assessor. And this is to, again, all right, so this is a modification of hours from 31 to 24. 2712 to 3753. And then, so modify the PRF to allow the posting, but then immediately move to hire the acting.
Pending approval of the modification. I don't know how you want to do that.
So why is it only 24 hours a week? Is this was supposed to be a 30-something?
Yeah, this was approved when Martha Leamy left, and they can't find anyone. Dave's doing a fine job, but he doesn't want to work 30 hours.
Because he's going to continue to work for the other community?
No, I believe he's resigning. Does he work for 2 communities? 2 others? Yeah. I'm under the impression that he was resigning from his position, but I don't know.
So I will just say that based on what is in front of us right now, without the benefit of hearing from the chair of the Board of Assessors, I am not in favor of this, but I will yield to the committee. If the committee would like to motion to move this forward, that's fine.
So, not in favor of the hours changing, you prefer to have a 30-hour person in there? Is that what you're going?
The drum has been beaten at the select board level to get this to $60,000 a year, and just last month they asked us to move it to $80,000 and fund it, and now the request is saying we don't actually need somebody at 35 hours or 31 hours. We
Here's
need
the
like
original
24.
PRF.
Right.
31 hours, and the range is lower as well.
Right. So again, without anybody here to talk to this and what their intent is, this does not correlate with what has been said during public meetings at the select board level. So for that reason, I'm not in favor of this, but
Do we want to
I'm also okay tabling it.
Accept or table
Yeah,
until they
I'm fine
be
with the table
present?
until they can come in and discuss it.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion, Dave?
Yeah, we'll make a motion to table this, when, today or next meeting?
Until the
Till
next
our
meeting.
next meeting?
That's
Okay.
fine. There's a motion by David to table until the next meeting, at which time we just like
To table the
representatives to come in and
PRF and
speak.
PCF, correct?
Yep, yep.
All right.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
He can't work more than 24. He's a famous writer now, filmmaker. Did you know that?
Oh, he's famous, all right.
Good.
Gore.
We're taping.
Thanks for the reminder.
Okay,
Gory.
I believe that is everything that we have on the agenda.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Darcy is on her way. I'm just letting you know.
So, originally, what time did they say they'd be here by 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
All right. So if everybody's, the time is 6:55. Do we want to recess for 5 minutes in the event that they arrive? Okay.
Sure.
There's a motion to recess for 5 minutes. The time is 6:55. We are going to pause the recording and we will resume in 5 minutes. All right, the time is 6:59. We are reconvening the Personnel Policy Procedure Board meeting of January 25th, and joined with us now is Darcy, Chair of the Assessors, Board of Assessors. So the only item that we have remaining is in regards to the principal assessor.
Yep.
We've dealt with the other issues and approved those
Okay,
within the
perfect.
assessor's office. So our initial, if you could, for the record, give us your position and reasoning and logic on why you want to make these changes.
So we've tried advertising the job for close to 3 years now, as you guys are aware of. We can't find any candidates. We've had one application from somebody that wanted to work from North Carolina. So we've had no luck with that. And so we're kind of trying to work with what we have. So our interim assessor is willing to work a maximum of 24 hours because of his other position in another town. So we're hoping to get that position being a full-time or a part-time with benefited position at 24 hours, and then use the remainder of the money to fill in with consultants.
So what would the 24 hours look like?
So by both positions working 24 hours, we're going to have full office coverage Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4, with some overlapping time because they need to work together. So they'll have a few hours of overlapping time.
And then he would retain his other position as an assessor in another community, and those hours would not conflict?
Would not conflict, no. No, his, sorry, so he would work Monday, 10 a.m. to 4:30, Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5, and Thursday, 1:30 to 5 p.m. So he would be staying later than the town office is open. And then the assistant, or the admin position would cover the morning, basically into the afternoon portion of it. So she
Okay.
would leave like 2:30.
And then can you just talk a little bit about, again, we're being recorded for the record, going from $27.12 to $31.43?
So we're adding more to his workload. So presently, he's doing, a lot of the, he's not managing the office, he's not doing, budgeting reports, et cetera. So we'll be adding to his workload. He'll be overseeing the admin position. So we feel that he's been here for 2 years now. Has
And
a lot of experience. You have his,
And so that change, I know I have the scale here. He's currently making $27.12, which is a step 6. $31.43 brings him up to a step 11. And you did submit his, I believe his resume's in here?
Yes.
But without going through it, is it fair to say that you're representing to the board that he has at least 11 years of experience to justify a step 11?
yeah. Yeah. I'll
Okay.
look back on his application to be sure, but.
All right, so it looks like 2015, well-
So he might be just
Yeah.
a little bit under that. He did not go all the way back
Yeah.
to, because he was in Beckett also.
So, I mean, again, this is just my take. I'm not speaking for the board, but just as myself. I'm typically in favor as long as we can document for the record and justify the years, so that when we are called on the carpet for favoritism, we can show, here's the record, here's what they have, regardless of what past practices have been done.
Find out when he's starting, 'cause I know.
Other discussion or any other member?
I don't have any questions.
So this annualizes out to a little over, well, just under 47,000. And it was, if I remember right, 60,000 in the.
Was what we had in the budget.
Yep.
He started working in the assessing field in 2001.
Okay.
So he's-
Yep. And
I
then
can get that documentation.
for the select board level?
Yep.
So then you guys would look through the budget. I'm just fast forwarding until July 1st. You're thinking about, take whatever his dollar amount is, the surplus that would be created, because originally there was 60. I know it's been moved to contract and all that. But talk a little bit about, you were going to use that money for contract services?
Correct. So because he's not here full-time, he won't be able to go out. I mean, we've always had contracting services even when we had a full-time assessor. It's just going to be a little more, we're still going to need probably most of that. I mean, this year it's going to be a little bit unknown because we're sending things out to bid to find out. But I'm thinking we're going to fall in that same area. We will be under the 60 for sure. We know we can do it for under that. I just don't have an exact number yet. We're just putting the budget together and trying to figure out, how much we can get for what we have.
And I don't know the answer to this, but how many hours do you have to work to actually get benefited at part-time?
20.
Okay. There's no other questions, what's the will of the body?
I will make a motion to approve the PRF with the change of the modification of 24 hours per week and the pay scale range, 2712 to 3753.
3143.
Oh, that's his PCF, but I'm talking about, we have to approve the PRF?
Okay, all right,
Right?
yep. So on the
Okay.
PRF, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
PRF?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is just a motion to approve the PRF as
Right,
submitted.
so we'll do these in two separate. So there's a motion on the PRF to accept the modifications, which is adjusting the hours to 24, down from 31, and adjusting the pay scale from 2712 to 3753, and both of which fall within the grade 5, which the position is currently scored for. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that one's approved. Now we got the PCF.
So I would make the motion pending approval of the PRF. Select board approval?
I gotcha. So there's a motion to approve the PCF, subject to select board approving the PRF. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
There's a motion made and seconded. Discussion? I'm fine with that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Passes.
Okay, I just have one question
Sure.
for budgeting. How does the benefits work? Does that come out?
Those are budgeted out of the treasurer's
Yeah, it
office.
won't come out of your budget.
Okay, so we just budget as regular.
You focus on the wages,
Okay.
but health insurance and all those other things would be
Come out
under
of the
Jen's.
treasurer. Okay,
Yep.
okay, that was the one thing I was not.
So Darcy, earlier, we approved the 2-week approval for Kathleen, so she can start her hours right away. I assume she already did, I
Yes.
think we were talking about that. And then a temporary 12 weeks. So after that 12-week period of time and the PRF is approved, it just has to make the rounds, and then you can submit a new PCF for her permanent hours.
And we can take that up in the February meeting.
Okay, and so when will that be? In February, that'll be on the select board meeting?
No, it's already posted for Tuesday night.
Okay, for Tuesday.
So I assume, I don't want to speak for the select board, but I assume it's going to pass the select board.
Okay.
So once that's done, then you get the final, then you don't have to wait for the 12 weeks to run out to submit the PCF to make that change.
Okay.
You do that right away, and then we're meeting on February 15th.
Okay, I'll be out of town Tuesday, so I'll make sure I get you his prior work experience so that you have that.
Yep.
Should I have Cindy go to the meeting if there's any questions? If she can.
If she's available, I mean, I can speak. The worst thing that's going to happen is there'll be pushback, and it'll get tabled for 2 weeks,
Okay.
which still puts us before the February 12th, but I'm guessing he needs to give notice. That's why the delay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would suggest if you wanted to individually reach out to the chair of the select board, because I'm thinking if there's opposition, that's where it's going to be.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for Chris.
No.
But
Okay.
Thanks, John.
no problem. But you got my vote, so there's one. You gotta get two more.
Yeah, and I think Stephen, for the meetings he has been at,
Those are
understands the issues at the office, so hopefully, but I'll reach out to Chris too.
Okay.
He's got that other stuff going on too.
So just for the record, the time is 7:12. I entertain a
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made, seconded, so moved.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.